Are you ready for this? Because I have notes. I'm going to hit on some major points in this season. So if you haven't watched it all, fair warning, spoiler alerts, don't come at me. Can I just please first start off by saying how good Minnie Driver looks? I mean, okay, queen. Yes, bitch. Let's freaking go. She looks so flipping good. I loved her in Will and Grace back in the day. And she doesn't even look 10 years older right now. Ma'am, you are serving and you are serving well. Okay, kicking it off with a character that I cannot stand, and I'm glad that they fired her ass, is Genevieve, because ever since she came on the show, she's been nothing but trouble, a troublemaker, if you will. I never liked her. The vibes were off, but I'm glad that they got rid of her character. Like, honestly, Emily helped her get a job and she's just a bitch. So, see ya. Then I want to jump to Ashley Park, Miss Lovely singing voice. I love her singing voice so much. And she covered Sabrina Carpenter's song, Espresso. Ma'am, served it up on a silver platter. Ashley Park has that theater voice and she's just so good at what she does and she knows how to do it and she knows how to do it well. That scene was so cool. She was in the martini glass. She had a little cute little beaded outfit on. I was like, okay, flapper girl. Yes, slay. Speaking of how good people look, that guy who played the Italian director, he was so gorgeous. Okay, I love a good silver fox. Okay, he was freaking amazingly handsome. I don't know if Sylvie had a thing with him in the past. I couldn't really tell. I think maybe they were working together. They had a falling out. Sylvie had to do blah, blah, blah. All I could look at was his face because he's freaking gorgeous. So thank you, Emily and Paris producers, for bringing really gorgeous people on my screen, because not only is Lucas Bravo 100 times hotter this year, and I don't even know how that happened, but sir, yes, like you are giving everything. You're giving me life. He is so gorgeous. And then Alfie, the guy who plays Alfie, man, sir, you bulked up. I could tell. Like both of them look so good this season. Oof, Lord have mercy. The one thing I could not stand this season, and this is a spoiler, not really a spoiler because they kind of showed it in the previews, was Alfie and Mindy's thing. First of all, I don't buy it. Second of all, I think it's weird. I just didn't buy the romantic chemistry on screen. Like, they're great actors themselves, but like the romantic chemistry for the show, it wasn't there in my opinion. I don't think they have any romantic chemistry as their characters, okay? It was awkward to watch, it was cringe to watch, it was weird to watch, and I hope they don't carry that on into the next season, but something tells me they might if they have a season 6. I'll get to that later in the video. It just wasn't believable on screen, and like, I love them. I love both of them as actors. They're great at what they do, but sometimes you can't force chemistry. You cannot force chemistry with people in real life. You can't force chemistry with people on the screen. It just has to be there, and the audience is going to pick up on it if it's not there. So they started in Rome, and then the Rome office closed because they lost the client that they initially had. So then they went back to France. Speaking of France, I'm happy. I'm so happy that they finally advanced Emily's language skills. Okay, remember from season like 1 to 4, she had no idea what she was doing or saying or hearing or talking or listening to. Now she can actually speak French, and I thought it was a nice touch because a lot of fans were complaining like, why would she be in France this long and not know some of the language at least? Like, she's so stupid. Why is she not trying? Well, guess what, guys? Now she does. So before I get into like the romantic stuff from this season, the incestual nature of this show and the romances in it is really apparent. It's so incestual. It's weird. It's like not only Alfie and Mindy this season, but so Alfie and Emily, and then Alfie and Mindy, and then Gabrielle and Camille, Emily and Gabrielle. Everyone is swapping spit. It's like that hookup chart in Jersey Shore season 2. Remember when I'm talking about in Miami that JWoww drew? It's like that. I kind of loved Marcello for Emily, and another spoiler alert, no, they don't end up together in the last episode of this season. Sorry. But I kind of loved him for her because he was an actual decent guy and he actually had good intentions. And that was the first time we've seen this. But also at the end of the day, we know that Emily is supposed to end up with Gabriel because that's the theme of the whole show. She never stopped being in love with him. And that's clear in a lot of the relationships she had after him. So going into my next point, that kind of really irked me, but I was really glad how they handled this season. When Emily found out that Alfie and Mindy hooked up, when she found out, she was mad. Now, I said at the screen, I said, why are you mad? You weren't even in love with Alfie, because the whole time she was with Alfie, she was in love with Gabrielle, but that's not what she was mad about. What she was mad about was the lie. Good job, Emily and Paris producers, because Honestly, I'm so tired of the non-accountability in this show, but this season they actually changed that a little bit and they gave these characters accountability for stuff. It wasn't even about him and her. It was about them lying to her for so long. We all know Emily's in love with Gabriel. She's been in love with Gabriel, even though they broke up. That's kind of a running theme in these Darren Star productions. He did Sex and the City, where the two main couple characters, they get together early on, they break up, and then it's like a will they, won't they up until the very end of the series, or if they even have a finale, if they don't get canceled. So I know like Emily is going to end up with Gabriel, assuming based on his past work. One thing that got on my nerves with Emily and Marcello was that she told Marcello she loves him. And I really think that Emily, the people pleaser character that she is, because we all know she said it, she is a people pleaser character. She said she loves him when he said he loved her, but that was out of obligation. Bitch, you don't love anyone but Gabriel. Like, why are you telling people this? Like, go after Gabriel. He took a job on a yacht as a private chef this season, so we didn't see much of him. Ooh, but the stuff we did see, child. Woo-hoo. Lucas Bravo, the man that you are. Lord have mercy. I think last season, and he was upset, as the actor himself was upset at his character development. And I think this season they kind of backed off a little bit. And I think that was good, because I think that his character development, for that to progress, it kind of needed them to back off a little bit from his back and forth and all that craziness that was going on. So I'm really glad what they did with him this season, although I would have loved to see more of him. But I think next season, if there is a season 6, that we'll get to see more of him and Emily. Speaking of Ashley's singing voice that I said earlier, she gets to sing another song, and oh my God, Come What May is what she was singing, because she got recruited to do an animated film about Moulin Rouge. If you have never even heard of it, Moulin Rouge, 2001, Nicole Kidman, Ewan McGregor, Baz Luhrmann director, genius, freaking genius. Go watch it. I was obsessed with that movie in high school. I could quote that movie front to back. I was obsessed with that movie. Even though you know she dies at the end of the movie in the very beginning, it still gets you at the end. Ashley was singing Come What May for that animated film. And as she was singing that song, I was tearing up, because as she was singing that song, Emily and Gabrielle were at the train station. She was wishing him off because he was going to go back on the yacht. And the way she was singing, the emotion that girl has when she's singing is crazy. And it was just the scene of them just like saying goodbye as friends, but you could tell it was more than that with their eye acting is great. The eyeball acting, yes. And then the last thing he said to her was, "You're a good friend," but you could tell it meant more than that. Oh, that was like, I might have to go rewatch that, because that was really like a cathartic experience for me. Going to Nico and Mindy's relationship, he kind of comes in near the end of the episodes. He's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry for everything that happened last season. I'm so sorry for all that. Like, I left my family business. Like, I love you, blah, blah, blah." And then at the very end of the season, they're in Venice and they're in a gondola. Emily, Marcello, Nico, and Mindy. And Emily thinks that Marcello is going to propose to her because she found the ring, but he was holding it for Nico. Oh my God, everything explodes in the last episode. I swear, the last episode is where the fireworks happen. So she sees him pull out the ring and she's like, "Oh my God, no, I can't marry you," blah, blah, blah. And then Marcello didn't want to marry her yet, but he was planning to marry her eventually. And so she just blew up his whole future in his face. And then he hands the ring to Nico, and Nico's like, "Oh, Minnie, this is actually for you." And I'm like, I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, wait, what? That just happened. Oh, and that just happened. Oh, and that happened. Oh, and that's happening now. Ma'am. So he proposes to Mindy. Of course, she says yes, but she still kind of has feelings for Alfie, which I still don't buy, because just their character chemistry is just off. I don't know. I want to know what's going to happen with their engagement next season, because at the end of the last episode as well, Alfie finds out Mindy accepted Nico's proposal, and then Alfie looks at her and he's like, "You shouldn't have done that." And then Emily's like, "Oh my God, why? What's wrong with you?" And then he's like, "She knows why." And then he walks away. And then Emily's like, "Do you have feelings for him?" And then Mindy's like, And then I'm like, oh, geez, Lord of a duck. Here we go again with this freaking threesome thing happening. This complicated. First it was Emily, Camille, and Gabrielle, and now it's Nico, Mindy, and Alfie. I just wonder how they're going to handle that next season. I think the engagement's going to break off, but that's just me. And if they have a season 6, I hope they do, because if they don't, I am protesting, because there are so many cliffhangers. There's Emily and Gabrielle. Is she going to go to Greece? The last thing that we see Gabrielle do is write Emily a postcard from the boat, and it says, "Meet me in Greece." guys, is she gonna go to Greece and are they gonna like reconnect? I don't know, but like there's so many cliffhangers. And then the agency almost going under, and Sylvie had to tell Emily like the agency almost went under, but we had to bring somebody in. Minnie Driver's character was actually the one that saved the agency at the very end. So I know if they have a season 6, that Minnie Driver is going to come back. They definitely need to have another season. And also, one last thing, I love how Sylvie now likes Emily and how she's kind of been her wing woman, because at the very last part of the last episode, Sylvie was the one who texted Gabriel that Emily and Marcello broke up and Emily is back in Paris, and to do with that information what he will. And so that's why he wrote her. I think the relationship between them is really cool now. This season is worth the watch. I did not like last season. I wasn't even excited for this season, to be honest, but I watched it and I was just like, you know what? They did a good job. I'm not going to hold you. They did a good job. And I'm pretty excited for season 6. And I am waiting on pins and needles to see if Netflix greenlights that. We need to know what happens with Emily and Gabrielle. We need to know what happens with Nico, Alfie, and Mindy. We need to know everything. So you better do a season 6, because I swear, Emily in Paris, I'm putting it out in the universe now, coming back for season 6. Let's freaking go. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.